Hello, teachers. Today we're going to talk about an activity that I've seen done and have used it effectively called speed dating. Now, be careful with that. For some reason, just using the word dating gets your students a little bit excited. So I would use the phrase speed dating, but make sure you're reminding students that this is not permission to date, or we're not even practicing dating. In fact, I would slowly change it to speed missionarying or something to that effect. But I would use the word speed dating just to, I don't know, you know what happens to youth when you start talking about dating, even though this really has nothing to do with dating. It's just sort of an activity that will, it's a fun variation on having students just read and share that we've done in the past. And so all you're going to do is just have them go into a specific block looking for one or two scriptures that they would use as a scripture insight. Now, whether or not they do one or two, that's entirely up to you. But I like to have them looking for at least two, simply because when they find one, sometimes they just close their scriptures and they think that they've done the assignment. But if they're finding two, then it does a couple of things. One, it has them continue to look in the scriptures to find two scriptures that are significant to them. But it also gives a chance when they begin teaching each other. If you've got a smaller class, you can have them teach everyone twice because they're going to have two separate scriptures. If you've got a bigger class and they're really only going to get a chance to teach everyone once, or even not even that far, then you just have them decide with each person which scripture they're going to choose, and they can continue with one scripture or they can share both of them. That's entirely up to them. But once they found that scripture or those scriptures, they're just going to prepare as if they were going to share it as an insight for the entire class. One of the questions that will come up, and it actually doesn't happen as often as you would think, but the students will say, well, what happens if I choose the same scripture as a person that I'm sharing with? And I just remind them that the scripture is important, but have them share the same scripture, even if someone else just shared it, because their reason for choosing the scripture is probably going to be different. And that's part of the experience we want them to have, is to share why they chose the scripture, why they thought it was significant. Make sure that they understand that there really should be purpose. They're not just fulfilling an assignment. In fact, I would probably remind them of Elder Bednar's comment in the evening with Elder David A. Bednar about what it means to be living in Revelation. That we're hopefully choosing something that's going to help make a difference in the lives of the students that they're about to share this with. The rest of this, you just need to decide what works best for your students, where you have them facing each other and you give them 1 or 2 minutes is all they're going to have to share their scriptures with each other, and then they're going to rotate as if they were doing a speed dating assignment. And the more people that they're able to share it with, hopefully they have a chance to share it multiple times. And you may want to remind them that as they're sharing, they may get additional insights with one person that maybe they didn't have with another. And that's part of the process. And I think part of what Elder Bednar was talking about when he talked about receiving revelation, a lot of times we're going to receive that as the Spirit prompts us as we're teaching, as I'm sure you've seen as a teacher. But that's just a quick activity that you can do multiple times in multiple ways. But just have fun with it, let the students have fun with it, but remind them that their goal is to make a difference for the student, not just to share a scripture or to do an assignment.